So a lot of us remember the story of the three wise men. They knew the stars, they watched them, and they knew when things would move and when they would change, and that was what they did. They studied things. And they noticed a new star. It's when they realized that something had changed. So they went looking. And what did they find? They found change. They found a new baby. And that baby was to change a lot of things. We can consider the three wise men as prophets. They had prophecies. They had knowledge or visions. We have wise men today as well. The three wise men, the story of the three wise men, the story of Moses, the story of Jonah, the story of David, the story of all of them have become nothing but stories. They're just stories. But what we're not seeing is the connection, the relevance of those stories in today's world. I went and saw Genesis last week. I've been watching a lot of the ratings and things and paying attention to what people have to say about movies because I'm single and I have a son and, there isn't a whole lot to do in the state. So I go see movies. A lot of the ratings for the movie Genesis was, it's just another Moses movie. It's just another movie about Moses. I have a question. Why now? I mean, let's think about this. I mean, in the past, they had the old movies about Moses and the old movies about Jesus and the old movies about all this fabulous people that lived in our history, and they would play it around Christmas time so that we could remember once a year. It's not Christmas. Why now? Why now when society is so miserably fucked up? Are they starting to bring out biblical movies again? Why? I'm excited, personally. I mean, I really enjoy them, but why now? They're just another story about the same thing over and over and over again, right? Have you ever compared society to, like, right now, what's going on right now, to the story of Moses? Have you? Have you taken the time? Let's think about this. Just really quick here, okay? Moses was a prophet. He was a prophet of God. He spoke directly to God. God spoke to him and he did what he was told. There were people who listened, people who followed him, and people who were saved. Okay. Those same people who were saved were taken somewhere safe, and then they started misbehaving. They started having sex with everybody. They started worshiping gold again. They started misbehaving. So he spoke to God. God gave him rules. He went down and said, God said we need to follow these rules. Things chilled out for a long time. Not completely. But the scale was out. And the people who were following, they outweighed the ones who weren't. People, let's think hard about this, okay? The scale's out. The scale is out. We have prophets today who remind us of the stories. Just more preaching, right? Just more people talking a lot of shit and a lot of kooky stuff, right? Yeah. I don't think so. We have prophets that are warning us about preparation. Spencer W. Kimball, the king of food storage. Okay? It was a few years back, he went up and he said this. When every other prophet was giving these long talks, he walked up to the microphone and he said, if you do not have your food storage ready, I have nothing left to say. And then he went and he sat back down. I don't know how many of you guys remember that, but Spencer W. Kimball happens to be my favorite prophet. I'm covered in tattoos, I've got a sailor's mouth, and I've got piercings, but let me tell you one thing, I listen to God. People look at me and say, obviously you don't, because your body's a temple and you're destroying your temple. Somebody's calling me. Hang on. And I can assure you it's probably not God. To be honest with you, I have no idea who it is. So they can just call me back. I'm busy. We have prophets in today's world that, I'm going to turn that shit off because they're probably going to call back. We have prophets in today's world that we are not listening to. We're hearing them. We're not listening. I want to know what would have happened. What would have happened if they hadn't listened to Moses? They would have thought he was a kook. There are visionaries in today's world right now. They're having visions. They're having prophecies. And surprisingly, the church isn't shutting them up. They're not stopping them. Because these visions and these prophecies coincide with what the prophets are saying in the church. There's many churches out there, but let me tell you, I'm going to tell you one thing. I pay attention to all of them, and they are all getting warned. We're spending way too much time, people, on worrying about what we're going to get Sally and Tommy for Christmas. Sally and Tommy aren't going to know the difference. We need to start spending our money. Sadly, we have to spend money to do this shit, but that's God's rules because God says to follow man's rules. We gotta spend money for our survival. You know, the new whatever Barbie shit isn't gonna save Sally's life if shit hits the fan. That new motorbike that has the little battery in it that's just so fucking cute. Not gonna save Tommy's life. It's not gonna be fast enough. I'm not saying to stop your life and leave your head stuck in the ground like a fucking ostrich. It's not what I'm saying, and I'm not saying to run around like a chicken with your head cut off either. I'm saying live your life. I'm saying learn the things you need to learn so that you can survive and make money and then do the things that you need to do. But what I'm saying is that there's plenty of time in one day to organize your shit, get yourself food storage prepared, grab some backpacks, stuff them with some grab and goes. Okay, and I'm not talking like fruit roll-up shit here. I'm not talking about let's pack a lunch. I'm talking about candles. I'm talking about things that you're gonna need if shit hits the fan. Especially Utah folk, because we already know the big one's coming. We've known the big earthquake's coming. We've known this for years. The last earthquake was 50 fucking years ago. There is one thing. There's only one thing in this life that is promised. Because it's constant. And that's the fact that history repeats itself. Styles come into fashion. We had what? We had bell bottoms. We've had the 80s. We've had the 90s back. People are running around looking like they're in the 20s. Style repeats itself. The trees repeat themselves. Earth repeats itself. History will always repeat itself. Learn your landscapes, people. Learn what's happened in the past in your area and prepare for that shit. I'm not talking prepare for the dawn of, freaking the end of the world, okay? If that shit happens, ain't nothing gonna stop God. Alright? Ain't nothing gonna stop Mother Earth either, but stop worrying so much about putting together the perfect Barbie party for their birthday. Start focusing on what's important so that they can have a few more.